Similar to other courses, students will make their decisions on whether they want to pursue a course or not based on the salary packages, based on the job opportunities, based on how difficult the exam is, or simply if their friends are doing it. This is also the case for the US CMA course. So what we've decided to do is I will explain to you all exactly what you will learn in each subject of US CMA, and if you find that interesting, all of that can lead to a separate career path. If you find what you're going to learn interesting enough, then you should consider pursuing this course. Very quickly, US CMA is split into two parts. So there are just two exams that you need to write. Part 1 is called Financial Planning, Performance and Analytics. Part 2 is called Strategic Financial Management. Each part consists of 6 subjects that you write in one go. Part 1, the very first subject is External Financial Reporting Decisions. This essentially deals with your accounts. So it will teach you how to make a ledger account, how to make entries, how to make income statement and P&L are essentially the same thing. How you make a balance sheet, cash flow statement, statement of changes in equity, all of this, your receivables, how do you account for assets, liabilities, all of this is covered in External Financial Reporting Decision. It mainly covers US GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting principles and used in the US. The next subject is Planning, Budgeting and Forecasting. Now, planning, budgeting and forecasting obviously deals with these three aspects: planning, budgeting and forecasting. But when you're planning, there are various frameworks through which you plan. There's something known as SWOT analysis, there's something known as BCG growth share matrix, there is something known as pestle analysis. So all of this you learn in the budgeting aspect of this subject. All of this you learn in the planning aspect of this subject. So budgets are of different types. You have something known as a cash budget, you have something known as a production budget, you have a sales budget. All of these different budgets and how they are prepared is taught in the budgeting part of this chapter. Finally, you have forecasting. So to make accurate budgets, or rather to forecast for future periods, there are various techniques that are used. Something known as regression analysis, learning curve analysis. There's something known as your weighted average method of forecasting. So there are different ways through which you forecast. All of this is covered in the forecasting aspect of it. Planning, budgeting and forecasting is a very fun subject and a very, very scoring subject. Next, you have something known as cost management. So cost management will essentially deal with costing. In costing, you learn concepts like activity-based costing. You have something known as a job order costing. You have process costing. All of these sound like very, very heavy concepts, but in truth, they're extremely logical. Again, costing is framework based. There are rules of course that you have to follow, but they're not as rigid as accounting or typical financial accounting. Oh, and by the way, in cost management, you also have supply chain management and business process improvements or business intelligence. Again, two subjects that are very, very practically used: supply chain management and business intelligence, which are used widely in all organizations. Next, you have your subject of performance management. Performance management essentially deals with what did we plan versus how did we perform, the comparison of these two, and then analyzing why did we perform well or why did we perform poorly. There are different ways of doing this. Then you have concepts like KPIs and balanced scorecards, key performance indicators and balanced scorecards. These deal with tracking the performance of your employees, and you have similar concepts. So again, in the performance management subject, you're thinking like a manager. How would you evaluate your team, your departments? Next, you have internal controls. So here again, this is very technical. So to say, you will learn about a lot of theoretical aspects of internal controls. You'll learn about internal audit. There's something known as Sarbanes-Oxley, which was introduced as a compliance measure for companies. So all of this is learned here. It is mainly a theory-based subject. Finally, you have technology and analytics. So in technology and analytics, again, a very fun subject. It's theory. In technology and analytics, you learn about ERP systems, enterprise resource planning systems. You learn about MIS systems. You learn about, how are companies like Zoho automating the books of accounts and such things you learn in this particular topic. You also have elements of cloud computing, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation in technology and analytics. So this is your part 1. It is heavily leaning towards accounting and concepts related to accounting. Next, part 2, which is called Strategic Financial Management, again has 6 subjects. We start with financial statement analysis, which essentially teaches you various ratios. If you want to find out and understand how much money your company has, and if they have enough money to pay off your debt as it comes due, there are different ratios through which you are able to determine this. There are different ratios through which you are able to determine the efficiency of your organization. How quickly are you churning inventory? How quickly are you collecting accounts receivable? How quickly are you paying, or how delayed is your payment to your vendors? So all of this you learn in financial statement analysis. How do you make sense out of financial statements? The second subject is corporate finance. Very simply, you learn three things in this subject. How to raise money. If you're raising money, how do you value equity, debt, other similar asset classes? How do you manage money? And finally, how do you grow your money? Ultimately, you want to be a successful business. So how do you deploy money? Next subject is decision analysis. Decision analysis deals with decision making, of course. So you have important decisions to make as a manager. Whether you want to continue with a particular product or stop it, whether you want to make something in-house or outsources, all of it is a science and it is learned in decision analysis. There's something known as marginal analysis, which you will learn in this topic along with a little bit of economics. Next subject is called investment decisions. Now again, as a manager, always in the US CMA exam, think from the perspective of a manager. If you have limited money and you have to decide only one project in which you can invest, how do you decide, or how do you best deploy your money so that it grows? This is covered in investment decisions. Next, you have the subject of risk management. Every company wants to mitigate risks by implementing certain controls. Controls you learn in part 1, but in part 2, you learn the different types of risks and how they can be countered. It is a fully theory-based subject and it is a very fun subject to learn. Finally, you have ethics, a fairly straightforward subject, but a finance and accounts professional should act ethically, and this is what you learn in ethics. If you have found this video helpful, consider pursuing the US CMA qualification. Get in touch with us if you want to do a demo with us or watch a demo of our faculties.